Hello, welcome to 1000 PS TV. My name is Nils and today I rode the 2022 models from the new BMW collection for you. Here the all new colors, the S1000RR and the S1000XR with the M package. Thank you very much for the thumbs up. See you later. See you. Goodbye. Bye.
It was a case for our home route. We wanted to find out whether the BMW S 1000XR could beat the super sporty BMW 1000RR on this demanding country road. Actually a useless duel for the pub table. But we are interested people and like to clarify such fundamental things definitively. There are areas where it is very clear that the BMW S1000, wherever you can use the 207 horsepower, the super sport bike scores at first glance. The XR scores everywhere where the bends are narrow and the asphalt is a little worse. But in practice, the sections where the RR is in front are significantly more often present than one might think. Why? On the one hand, it is because the fulminant power of the RR does not bring any real disadvantages. On the straightaways, you take advantage of it cheaply and easily in the saddle. On the other hand, the engine is pleasant to dose and even in the low RPM range it accepts throttle cleanly. The RR's engine offers a surprisingly wide rev band and pushes forward vehemently even in the mid-range. The long gear ratio of the superbike is only a disadvantage in tight turns. But this is a territory that is not home territory for the XR either. The BMW S 1000, no matter how it is tuned and geared. If you drive out of the corner at 30 km per hour, the big hammer is not available. In this case, you must either have a bit of patience or use the clutch to help you in a direct comparison. The XR does not have any acceleration advantages on corner exit. The advantages of the XR are more apparent in the area of ergonomics. The difference can be felt most intensely on tight uphill turns. In the saddle of the sporty tourer, you sit upright and can easily turn your head and upper body far into the corner exit, in combination with the wide handlebars. This is a great basis for a harmonious turning process. These maneuvers are much more uncomfortable in the saddle of the super sports bike. The hunched posture makes it more difficult to turn the head or even the upper body clearly upwards and backwards in the direction of the corner exit. The turning process is therefore a bit more awkward. Frankly speaking, the disadvantages in the saddle of the RR became greater the longer the day lasted. Because after 300 kilometers in the saddle, we got tired and started to sit more sloppily in the saddle. The arms became stiffer and the elbows were no longer a pivot but much more like a rigid connection. But after a short break and with a little ambition, things looked different again in the afternoon. While shooting for the video, we rode the best section of the track several times and gave our best. On both motorcycles we drove according to BMW data recording 45 degrees lean angles. In the saddle of the RR felt loose and totally relaxed. Reserves were still visible on the tires and the snappy line was shaken out of the sleeves with a clear conscience. In the saddle of the XR one had already reached the limit in many respects. On the one hand, the footpegs already scratched noticeably on the asphalt. On the other hand, the 45 degrees felt a bit more threatening here. That has several reasons. One point, of course, is scored by the tires. On touring motorcycles are mounted for various reasons gladly touring tires. On the one hand because it is more practical and more sensible, on the other hand also because it is sometimes not possible otherwise. Very radical sport tires have negative effects on stability. If you always want to be safe on the road even with luggage, you are always better off with touring tires on a touring bike with relatively high suspension travel. The BMW S 1000RR is a completely different story. The stable chassis easily tolerates even super pointy tires and the two sporty elements harmonize wonderfully with each other. The next point, of course, is collected by the stiffer chassis. The RR has 3 cm less suspension travel and thus a more direct connection between the rider and the asphalt. Unfortunately, the XR does not use the advantage of the additional suspension travel ruthlessly. The XR is not really comfortable either. The suspension doesn't respond sensitively enough and should simply offer more ride comfort in road mode. That would have been the chance for the XR to score cheaply and easily against the RR. In the end, however, the seating position also has a huge influence on the handling. In the saddle of the superbike you sit strongly forward oriented and thus have more confidence in the connection to the asphalt. The RR scores graciously and effortlessly swings through the demanding curves with considerable lean angle. In the end, of course, it's a matter of taste. Honestly, the trip home from the test area was a real pleasure in the saddle of the XR and a bit exhausting in the saddle of the RR. But it was surprising to see that the Super Sport is the better motorcycle in terms of speed in almost all sections. The advantage in ride comfort is less than it could be. Here the XR allows itself a few small weaknesses in the chassis. Only in the seat comfort the XR scores as expected fully and completely. The RR then collected final plus points when riding on the city highway. The ultra-slim machine allowed even tighter maneuvers when overtaking than the XR. The wide handlebars are good for maneuvering and handling, but are not an advantage when tailgating. And although the XR was equipped with the M package during the test, it didn't stand a chance against the RR in terms of sex appeal. His super sports bike simply looks more and more desirable, even if it is presented in a relatively restrained paint job like the current model. Is that a matter of taste? We will check on our Instagram account which model will collect more likes. The S1000XR or the S1000RR.